hypocrisy. Saying or believing in one thing while doing or practicing something completely different. You guys, I watched a video this week that really hit home in a different way. I'm very emotional about the topic. You've probably seen the video. I mean, it's been on a couple of news networks, not all of them. It should be on all of them, but it hasn't. It's been all over the social media, that's for sure. And this one truly got me, man. It hit me home in a different way. Here's the clip.
What did I do wrong?
You have it better.
You're offensive. You're making the space uncomfortable. But you're white. Do you understand what a multicultural space? It means you're not being centered.
White's not a culture?
No, it's not a culture. It's white is not a culture. Say it again to the camera. You think whiteness is a culture?
You guys, for those that may not know me, I grew up being discriminated against my entire life for being white in a Native community. I know the term, it was said in that video. If you watch the whole thing, go find it on YouTube. I didn't put the whole thing on there. You go and find it. But it was said in there that there's no such thing as reverse racism. I experienced it firsthand my entire life for being half white and half Alaskan Native. I grew up in my small village in Western Alaska, and I was beat up and called white boy for the color of my skin, even though half of me, my blood, is Alaskan Native. And I've always been proud and tried to share and teach both of my cultures, both my Inupiaq heritage and my Italian, Scottish, mixed European, white culture. And it took years. It's taken years. It's still to this day. I'm doing it right now, trying to teach about multiculturalism and what that really means and truly means and what it should look like, to me at least, in my personal opinion, that knowing who you are and sharing who you are with the world, knowing who you are, what your culture is, where you come from, the good, the bad, the ugly, the great, the awesome, and sharing that and teaching it with others and being understanding and willing to share that with one another is the only true way to move forward and to be progressive. So when I witnessed this video and I saw what these women did, they did an amazing thing by getting a multicultural space created. A place where I think represents sharing and learning and teaching, so that way people can work together and learn to work together. When I saw them and the hypocrisy that they emitted with their words by kicking these white kids out and saying that white is not a culture, it really hit home, man. It really hit home for me. And I'm seeing this type of hypocrisy in every aspect of media these days. I mean, professional sports, politics, you name it. They have a vaccine mandate in the National Basketball Association, the NBA, and it's caused some athletes to lose their livelihood. But more importantly, it's cost them a chance to participate in something that they've loved and grown up with their entire life, something that drives them to live. Kyrie can't play basketball until he complies with the NBA's vaccine mandate. And yet there's NBA players that are testing positive and are fully vaccinated and being put on health and protocol for testing positive for COVID. It's hypocrisy right there. And this is happening in the NFL, it's happening in the NHL, it's happening in college, it's happening in sports across the board. I think there's like one or two sports in the world that are actually overcoming this type of challenge. And we watch all these, and we watch all this hypocrisy happening on the field. It's just the subliminal message that's being sent there is, I don't think people even understand that it's happening. And if you change the channel, or watch the news or see the big topics, right? Like the international shutdown because of the Omicron variant that's come out. I wrote low key. People can't enter our country legally by following the protocols that were put in place, by getting tested and buying a ticket and legally traveling into our country from South America or the other countries that have gotten banned for travel. And meanwhile, those same reporters, those same news networks are also sharing that there's over 180,000 illegal immigrants crossing the border at the southern border, and Texas is being overwhelmed. And then some of the news networks and across social media, I've also seen that they're flying people in to live here, and then they're paying them to live here. It's like only within the legal American limit that COVID protocols are regulated and mandated, right? It's just so hypocritical. But the biggest source of hypocrisy that I've seen in our country and on TV and on the news networks and all of the different channels and political parties and idealists and from Christians, from religions, all the above, is the our body, our choice argument. It's been happening for years. The biggest, and it's just come back up, the Roe versus Wade and Supreme Court thing that's been all over the news networks these days. One side wants abortion to be allowed. They want women to be able to choose if they could end their pregnancy or not. Those same people, a lot of them at least, also believe that we get to choose what we are. If we're a girl, if we're a boy, if we're gay, lesbian, queer, drag, trans, LGBTQ, that whole movement. They want to believe in all of that, and yet they stress the vaccine. They are saying, no, the vaccine should be mandated. We need the vaccine in order to overcome COVID. And then on the other side, abortion is murder. Abortion is unacceptable. A woman should never be able to choose to end her pregnancy, regardless of if it was rape or incest or pedophilia or any of the other sick ways that guys treat women. I can't believe it. It's just so disrespectful, but it happens in our world. I don't understand that. But then they say we should be able to choose if we get the vaccine or not. Our body, our choice. It's hypocrisy. It's just so hypocritical coming from every side. There isn't one good side or one bad side when it comes to hypocrisy. Everyone has a hypocritical formula. You say or believe in one thing, you do or practice something completely different. And somehow we can't come to a compromise on any of it. There's no compromise. The word compromise almost doesn't even exist, I think, in politics and in all the different things that you see. And I get hammered for it. I'll probably get hammered for this video because of saying the things that I'm saying. Because I'm not siding with those girls and I'm not siding with those guys in that video. I am multicultural. I'm the definition of multicultural. I have mixed white European blood inside me from Scotland, from Italy, from all over the place. I don't even know some of the stuff on my white side. I think in my Inupiaq side, there's even Korean and Asian blood inside my thing if I were to do an Ancestry.com type thing. I am white and I am native. I am balancing on a fence between two worlds. And in every single aspect of this hypocrisy that I talked about in this video so far, there cannot be a compromise. There cannot be a compromise. I can't exist. Physically, Nick, this guy Nick right here, I can't exist according to one side or the other side because I'm multicultural, but yet white people can't be multicultural. The discrimination that happens today is just, it still just blows my mind. The leaders, the people that started, that encouraged peaceful protesting like Martin Luther King Jr., man, their legacies are being trampled on by videos like this because they gave their lives to end racism. They gave their lives. And yet these girls that are multicultural, black and mixed, they are being racist towards white people in this video. They're doing exactly what Martin Luther King died saying shouldn't exist. And there are so many successful immigrants that follow the rules and the guidelines and the laws that were set in place so that they could become legal, healthy Americans. They spent months, maybe years, elders that made it so that it was possible for their family to cross the border and escape the tyrannical government that they came from. And yet we're just allowing people to cross into our country, and then we're shutting down borders for people that want to come across in a way that is healthy and following the protocols and following the guidelines and following the rules that are set in place, and yet they're shutting those borders down and leaving this one open. It's just hypocrisy. And I'm not saying this because I know what's happening. I'm saying it because I'm repeating what I've watched on the news and what I'm seeing on the news on all the different news outlets, all the different social media outlets, the articles, the places that I've read, the websites that I go on, everything. The hypocrisy is evident on every single one of them. The question you should really ask yourself, though, is what are you going to do about it? What are we going to do about it, guys? That's the question that we need to ask ourselves. Are we going to get revenge by kicking these white kids out of the multicultural center? Or are we going to embrace multiple cultures and teach them about our own and teach them about who we are? Are we going to fight and throw bricks through people's windows and loot and raid and start fires and trample on Martin Luther King's dreams, man? That wouldn't happen, that we can live together in harmony and that we can live together in a peaceful way, in a manner of which we can be together. And yes, white people, are you going to continue to perpetuate the negativity that was created by our history, where they didn't know better? They thought they were doing good things. They said they were doing things in the name of God, for those of you that are Christians. And they said they were doing these things, but they didn't understand what they were actually doing. Are we going to hold them and blame our neighbors and blame people like me because I'm white? Or are we going to reshape our future? Reshape our future, man. We have a chance. We have an opportunity right now to change this all. Not to fight back and to hold people up against the wall and yell at them and scream at them and blame them for things that happened to our ancestors, but to reshape them and to teach them and to ask our elders questions and to learn from them, and then to share that wealth with the world and to share that and create a space, yes, a multicultural space like what you ladies set up that is so awesome and so amazing and you work so hard for, and to use that space to be a teaching place. Whoa, dude, I don't know what that sound is, but it's creeping me out, bro. It's the middle of the night, and that sound creeped me out, dude. I don't know what that was, but I guess that's the ending of this video, dude. I'm just getting intense. I think I'm out of here. You get my point. You get my point. It's up to us, man. It's up to us to change. It's up to us to be there for each other and to understand each other and to grow and to get better. Don't perpetuate the problem. See you guys next video.